Hey, what's up guys? It's 𝗪𝗏𝗶𝗹. In last live stream, we found these headphones and we ended up purchasing them and we are going to sell them for $63 profit. And we were in the middle of storefront stalking a seller and we found this in one of the very first items that we looked at. So I'm excited to see what we're going to end up finding looking through the rest of this seller's items. And if you don't know me, I'm 𝗪𝗏𝗶𝗹. I sell from eBay to Amazon full-time. In the last 12 months, I've done around 500K in sales. So this is my full-time job. And I'm excited to show you guys some of how you guys can do this yourself. So we were looking at this item when we got started on the live stream the other day. And this is just a general item. We are able to see that this item sells in the ballpark of $50 to probably $65 max used. So if we were to get this item for 40 bucks, well, if we were to sell it for 60 bucks and we were able to get it for $36, that would be around 30% ROI. And so from there, you can make $11 profit. And what we can do here is we can take this and we can see that there are other people who have purchased this item for the right price in order to make profit on Amazon. So we can just cut and paste that, probably make it a little vaguer so it actually comes up. And I'll show you that people are actually purchasing this for the correct price. There may not be any available right now, but over the last several months, lots of people have been purchasing this for the right price. And I clicked the wrong one. There we go. You have to click the sold listings. And so when we filter by lowest first, we see that, well, this is parts only, but we see here that this one sold for around $25. This one sold for under 30, under 30, under 30, under 30, under 30, under 30, under 30. And we see that this is the same because if we search the page, we see that this is the same model number. And so we see that there's a lot of people getting this for the right price. And so what we can do is the people selling this item most likely are purchasing used. And so they very well could be sourcing from eBay. And what we're going to do is we're going to look and see from these sellers who are selling this type of item what we can find. That we can also then search on eBay and we can see in the sold listings that there are various occurrences of people purchasing this where they're going to make profit. And so from there, we can understand how likely it's going to be for us to be able to find this. And then we can go back later and search by newly listed and find these items ourselves. So yesterday we were looking through, so it might have been this guy. Yes, so it was this guy. So last live stream, it will probably be a couple weeks ago at this point, we found these right off the bat. You can see that is literally the very first item. If we look at the 𝗬𝗶𝗹 that you'll see on the bottom right, you'll see that there is a sold market for this item. You see the 𝗬𝗶𝗹 chart, you see the yellow, the purple, the black, and the black line is the line that people are selling this item used for. And so we see that people are selling this for in the ballpark of $250 to $300, sometimes more like $210. So it really depends the price there, but we were able to see, okay, this is an expensive item. We see that there's a lot of sellers selling this and that they seem to be getting sales and that we can also find these on eBay. So we already did that. So we're going to be looking for more items. So this wouldn't really fit our criteria because we see it's an Amazon exclusive, and looking at the 𝗬𝗶𝗹 down there, it's a pretty inexpensive item. And so if it's an inexpensive item, it's harder to find this, especially if it's a big item like a board game that we're going to be able to sell profitably. Because by the time someone ships it out to us and we send it in, it's just going to be too expensive. Now some Bose speakers. I'd love to find something with a... We'll just take a look at this. So this person's selling for $135 plus 12, only one left in stock. So there's a couple things we're seeing here. Number one, Rev Seller is saying that I'm restricted, but that was the case with the headphones as well. We were able to sell them as used instead of new. Also, it's a rank in computer speakers. I'd love to find something, a regular category. Most likely, this is getting sales. We see that there's a lot of people consistently on this listing. So we're going to look at some other things. So taking a look at this 𝗬𝗶𝗹, we see that it's anywhere between $250 and $200, and the sales rank went down significantly when the price went under $200. Personally, for me, I don't like selling these disc changer type items, VCRs, Blu-ray players, because it's a lot of work and effort to ship them out correctly and not have them break. And then regardless, the customer might not even know how to use them. That being said, like, there is some really good money in those types of items. But personally, for me, I send my items to a prep center, and so they need to be the type of item that's not gonna like break very easily. For me, I wouldn't want to look at this, but just for the sake, we'll just pass on it. What you would do if you are interested in this item is you would go into this, see what price people are regularly selling this for, and then go on eBay and search for this item and see if people are selling for the right price. So we have a Dell monitor dock. So it looks like it's kind of like a docking station type thing. I know Dell has IP issues, but we look at the 𝗬𝗶𝗹 to actually see if there are actually going to be IP issues. Because the way IP alert and seller amp work, this is a really big tip. If you're risk averse, just like follow IP alert. But like literally, I've never received an IP complaint on one of these types of items. It's like I've actually received IP complaints on items that didn't show that. The best way to check if there's actually going to be IP issues is, number one, are there massive down spikes? So it looks like everyone went off the listing here. Looking down here at this section here, just everyone just plummeted. I wonder if that's because of good sales rank. It suddenly went from 40 used sellers to 5 used sellers, and the price went down. This is kind of like a less pronounced IP complaint 𝗬𝗶𝗹 chart. So I would be, I mean, it happened in 2020. Oh, but was this was at COVID. Interesting. Here's an example of an IP complaint item. This one, for the last 2 years, there have been sellers consistently on the listing. But then for this, when we look at the 𝗬𝗶𝗹, when we look down here, we see that there's always one person, this purple line down here in stock. Just ignore this green line. This is the review count. And then this black line, when people come on the listing, they go on, and then they very quickly go off, and then they go on, maybe even for a couple weeks, and then they go off. If there's a pattern of people just like consistently staying off the listing or like going on and then off, very, very good chance that these people who are coming on the listing are getting IP complaints. We also see the pricing is very, very steady here. And we also see that the brand is selling this and has the buy box. All of these are signs that it's going to be an IP complaint item. And this, we see that there's an ecosystem of people consistently being on this listing. We don't see that there's a pattern of there just being one person in stock. We don't see a pattern of people coming on the listing and coming off. And so even though it shows up in IP alert and seller amp IP analysis, basically these are just showing that there are items within this brand that someone has received a claim on. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and look at this item. So this is very good sales rank for computer and accessories. Taking a look at the month, we see that there's a good amount of sales. If you really want to understand exactly how many sales, not exactly, a ballpark of how many sales this is getting per month, you can always go to Jungle Scout. I'm just going to type it here so that you can do it yourself if you want to. Jungle Scout has a free sales estimator. You don't have to pay for anything with this. You just use this free tool. And just for the sake of curiosity, you can go down to 𝗬𝗶𝗹 and see what the averages are. So this is always a low rank. So we'll type 800 United States computers and accessories. So the estimated sales per month is 540. So if that is basically saying, if you were the only person on this listing and nobody else was in stock, you would sell around 540 units per month. So obviously that's a lot of units. And we also see here that there's 22 people on this listing currently. And sometimes there's more, but it's never more than like 40. So I mean, worst case scenario, if you were fully in stock on this, just doing it on my calculator here, 540 divided by 40, you'd get at least 13 sales a month on this item. And most likely these people aren't even all priced competitively. There's probably some people listing way above asking price for this. So we're seeing a very consistent price of around 90 bucks for the used very good. And the used like new is more like 140, but that's only been for a couple weeks. Yeah, it's a very abnormally high price. So I mean, it looks like at best prime, you'd probably get around 100 bucks, but this guy's getting more. So I don't know, we'll just say 100 bucks. So now what we want to do is we know that if we send this item in profitably, we're gonna be able to sell this and it's not gonna take too long for us. What we wanna do is we wanna understand how often we can find this item profitably and what price we need to purchase this at in order to make this worth our time. 60 bucks is what we need to purchase for to make 40% ROI. I think 67, I think I have my seller amp settings to 25%. Should probably change that to 30 because I don't really do 25% as much. But somewhere around 65 bucks is our max purchase price if we're going to do 30%. So we want to go into eBay. And I go into eBay and we want to search this. And so obviously this title is a little discombobulated, a little bit ridiculous. So we're going to have to simplify this. I'd probably type this. So do know people are going to be expecting the adapter. So keep that in mind. You can sell it without the adapter if you want to risk people being angry with you and high return rates. But it looks like this is the model number. I'm seeing here model number is this. You could also search by UPC if you want to. You can also just type model. And you can usually see, like right there is that. So we are going to cut out the adapter and have the model number there. We're going to take a look at the solds. So we're going by lowest first. We see that number 1, not too many of these are being sold, which is a problem. We'll see if there is any way that we can make this less specific and see if we're still getting the same item. We'll have to take a look. Yeah, so there's a lot more. We're still seeing the WD15. And we'll have to go in the item and look at the pictures and make sure it's the same model number to confirm this. But this person got this. Is it the same thing? Looks like the same thing, except some of these look more. Yeah, that's 130 adapter. Yeah, some of these are slightly different. So like this one looks more like it. So let's just go ahead and put the model number back in. And see what we find. So I mean, if this is the one, like they just made a ton of money. $24. It's good ROI too. So if they purchased for $24, they made 60 bucks and 251% ROI, which is insane. And this will sell in under a month if you're active. So I mean, we're kind of going into the weeds even just looking at this, but so this one, it is a little bit hard to tell whether it's the right one or not. You can also take a look at the picture with all the ports. And if we click in here, and look at the picture, we see that it's the right ports, I do believe. Yep. It's looking like the right item, and this person got it for 27 plus 13. So they got it for 40 bucks. So I mean, people are definitely purchasing this item for the right price. And so now it makes it a little harder to tell how many actual solds there are of this item, because we need to make sure that it's the right model number. But I mean, from a zoomed out perspective, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, includes the adapter. 36 plus 22 is still correct, I think, right? 58. Yep. So here's 60, 60, 60, 60, 60. So yeah, we're seeing a good pattern that there are items being sold for this price. And there's also a lot that we see here that are also being sold above the price. So this kind of sits in the sweet spot that it seems like there's a decent chance we could find this. There's maybe 10 to 12 solds in the last several months that this item sold for the right price. And so ideally we want it to be as many as possible, but this is something that there is a chance that it could be for sale. So we might as well check that now. So we're going to go ahead and take off the sold listings and just see what's available on the market right now. So we have this one, but unfortunately it has the wrong power adapter, which is a bummer. We have this. It says it has the right adapter, but its for parts are not working, so we don't like that. This is with the wrong adapter. This is even the same thing. 𝗧17A. So is there anything about 𝗧17A here? 𝗧17A. So that's probably not the same item. Okay, so it seems like the 𝗧17A is with the 130 watt adapter. 130 watt, 130 watt. The 𝗧17A. Maybe this is it. I think that's the same pattern of ports. I think it is. But does it have the adapter? So it looks like this doesn't have the adapter, and so this is something that you could purchase and sell used acceptable. And I used to do that a lot, and now I don't do that too much. I'm wanting my return rate to be very low. But we have here 42 plus 1830, which is 60.3. It looks like they have the adapter. 24 bucks, 40% ROI. Ooh, it's a quantity listing. Oh, I love quantity listings. Oh, yeah, great. So I'd like to see, to make sure that that's the right adapter. Yeah, so we can see up here that it's the right one. This is the 𝗧17A. So this might be, is this even the right one? I'm curious if there is a Dell WD 15 𝗧17A. So it's the same ASIN. So maybe I was wrong about the 𝗧17A. Maybe they just have it in their... Wait, no. It was in the... It's literally right there. The model. 𝗧17A. 4W2H. So kind of like... What is it? Like apparel listings. Sometimes electronics, you have to weed through some model numbers. And if you understand it, it ends up being a competitive advantage, but you have to actually understand it. So I'm curious what comes up if we do a Google search of this. So it just searches the same thing. In this listing that says 130 adapter, we are seeing a lower price, which makes sense. K17A. Model number. Something else. It has the same pattern of ports, doesn't it? So let's come back here. So same pattern of ports. Does this show? I mean, oh yeah, we're looking at the same thing. Okay. So what about this one? It has the same pattern of ports. It's the UPC. So it's saying that's the UPC. Oh, the EIN. Did I take the EIN? But that just means that the seller listed it as that. It's very hard to tell which one this is. I'm going to try searching this just like that. Just the K17A is throwing me off a lot because it seems like potentially people could be listing it with the, what is it, the K17A, but the right UPC. And it's a big difference in price. And the pricing would be, oh, is the pricing even that good? Oh, I mean, it's better if you buy more. So ones that we think are for sure not it, like this, for example, what does the bottom of this say? We're going to approach it this way. Oh, so these are different ASINs. Oh, so this is the 130. This is the 180. We're going very deep in the realistic weeds today. You gonna show me what the bottom? No. So this is the wrong one, and they show a very, very good picture of it. It's not helping. Oh. Can I see that? No. Very fun. My screen. Alright. Let's see if we can... K17A. See what the model number is. So the back of this is saying K17A. This is saying K17A. So I think they just listed it wrong. What does a W15 say? I wish the Amazon listing picture showed this. But it's saying K17A as well. So we're seeing W15 and K17A. So W15 and K17A. But on this one, we don't see it. So is that the difference here? That must be the difference. So the one we're looking for is going to have both. Okay, great. So it looks like there's none in stock right now. That's a very in-depth guide on how I would be looking for these items and analyzing these items. This is definitely a great item to be on the lookout for. It looks like it's more of a confusing item because of this model number issue. I've definitely sold wrong model numbers in the past, and everything turns out okay. Usually, sometimes you can even sell them, but I'd like to sell the right model number, you know, because customers do get mad eventually. It looks like the right one has the K17A on the left and then W15 on the right. But this is something that right now there's nothing profitable, but you can come back here and search this and filter by newly listed, and then you'll get to see the stuff that has just been put on eBay. and let's say this was the right one, you could come in here and purchase and make profit. You can also continue storefront stalking the person that you're on after you've entered all the information in a place where you can come back and search for these items. So yeah, if this was helpful for you and helping run your own Amazon FBA business and find profitable products, then please feel free to help me out by subscribing and liking the video. Hope you have a great rest of the day, and take care.